Is anyone out there listening? Good. You've tuned into Lavender Town Radio, the only station brave enough to broadcast the static between worlds. Tonight, we have a story for you, a whisper from the shadows, a tale woven from the dark pages of the Pokédex that they never wanted you to read. But first, a small favor. If you find a chilling comfort in our stories, show your support by hitting the like button. It's a small click for you, but it's a beacon for us in the digital darkness. And to ensure you never miss a transmission, make sure you subscribe and ring that little bell. It helps our signal cut through the noise. All right, the signal is clear. Now, are you comfortable? Good. Let's begin. My name is Misty. Most people in Kanto know me for two things: my love for water-type Pokémon and my absolute illogical fear of bug types. But there's something I keep quieter, a deeper fear. I'm afraid of ghosts. That's right. The tomboyish mermaid, the powerful gym leader of Cerulean City, who has faced down Gyarados and Tentacruel, can be reduced to a screaming mess by a single Ghastly. It's embarrassing. It's a contradiction I've learned to live with, a secret hidden behind confident smiles and sharp battle commands. My life was a loop of battles, training sessions, and pool maintenance. An orderly, predictable cycle. Until a boy named Ethan broke that loop and dragged me into a world where my worst fears were no longer just campfire stories. It started like any other day, a gym battle. My Starmie had just defeated Ethan's Sandslash with a powerful hydro pump. He was a good trainer, and I was smiling, ready to award him the Cascade Badge. That was a great battle, Ethan. You fought very... Do you know about the face? He interrupted, his eyes shining, not with impending victory, but with a different kind of excitement. I blinked. The face? Yeah, the face in your pool, he said, almost crowing. It's mystery number 1. He pulled out a tablet and showed me a shady-looking website titled Kanto's Top Creepypastas. They say sometimes at night, if you look at the bottom of the main gym pool, you'll see a screaming face looking back at you. He proceeded to list them with a morbid glee. The Whispers on Nugget Bridge, the Ghost of the Bike Shop, the Curse of Cerulean Cape, and the Forgotten House on Route 24, the 5 horrifying mysteries of Cerulean City, he concluded proudly. It's the real reason I came here, to investigate. I tried to laugh, to dismiss it as childish nonsense, but a chill had already run down my spine. As a gym leader, I am the protector of the city. Rumors like that, however silly, could cause a panic. It was my responsibility to get to the bottom of it. And a small, curious part of me couldn't help but wonder. Well, I said, handing him the badge, good luck with your ghost hunt. That night, I decided to do a little hunting of my own, a mistake I would soon come to regret.
The Cerulean Gym at night is a different place. There are no cheers from the crowd, no sounds of splashing water, just a near-perfect silence, broken by the drip of water somewhere and the eerie blue glow of the underwater lights. I went alone. My Pokémon were all resting in their Pokéballs. I didn't want to admit, even to myself, that I needed the moral support. I stood at the edge of the main pool, where the most important battles took place. The water's surface was as still as a black mirror reflecting the high ceiling. I took a deep breath. This is so stupid, I told myself. It's just an internet story. I looked down. At first, nothing. Just the familiar blue lines at the bottom of the pool. But then, I narrowed my eyes. There was a small ripple, a distortion in the water that wasn't mine doing. It was right in the middle of the pool. I stepped closer, my heart beginning to beat faster. I knelt down, bringing my face close to the water, and then I saw it. A face. It was looking up at me from the bottom. It wasn't distorted or monstrous in a ghostly way. It was worse. It was my face, but it was screaming. A silent, horrified scream, eyes wide with terror, mouth open with what looked like air bubbles escaping. And it was sinking, slowly being pulled down into a darkness deeper than the pool floor. I screamed, a real scream, and fell backward onto the cold tiles. I looked back at the water, trembling. Nothing, just my own normal reflection staring back at me with a horrified expression. But then I heard it. A faint, echoing voice from under the water, as if filtered through tons of liquid. Help me. I didn't think. I ran out of my own gym, out into the cold night air, and didn't stop until I was in my apartment with the door bolted shut. I huddled on the floor, panting. I couldn't do this alone. I needed an expert. Someone who wasn't afraid of things that lurked in the dark. Someone who could look at a screaming face underwater and not run away. Gritting my teeth, I took out my X transceiver and dialed a number I hadn't called in years. Sabrina? I said, trying to keep my voice from shaking. I think I have a ghost problem.
A ghost problem? Sabrina's cold, emotionless voice came from the X transceiver. How mundane. Do you have any idea what time it is, Misty? Listen, I'm serious, I said, my panic making me irritable. There's something in my pool. It has my face, and it's talking. There was a long pause. I could almost hear Sabrina raising a single eyebrow. Intriguing. My consultation fee is 50,000 Poké-dollars per hour, plus travel expenses, payable in advance. I choked. 50,000? Are you kidding me? I could hire a whole team of Ghostbusters for that. Then do so, she said, and I heard the click as she was about to hang up. Wait, I shouted. Fine, you win. Just get over here. Sabrina arrived the next morning, not by a noisy fairy, but appearing in a silent flash of psychic energy in the middle of my living room, her alakazam at her side, its silver spoons gleaming. She surveyed my messy apartment with a delicate disgust. I trust I'm not expected to investigate this chaos as well, she said, her voice like ice. Good to see you too, Sabrina, I replied, my sarcasm failing to hide my nerves. The pool is this way. At the gym, she wasted no time. She didn't need to look into the water. She simply closed her eyes. After about 30 suffocating seconds of silence, she opened them. There is no ghost, she stated flatly. It is a psychic residue leak. More specifically, your own fear, Misty, of drowning, of failure, of both. She pointed towards the basement. There is a wild drowsy asleep in the pump room. It's been feeding on the city's bad dreams and has been accidentally projecting your insecurities onto the water's surface. Harmless, but messy. Her alakazam's eyes glowed, and I heard a faint pop from the basement, followed by the cessation of a low snoring sound. "It has been relocated to a quieter spot in the Viridian Forest," she said. "Now, about my payment." I stood there, jaw agape. I had just paid an astronomical sum for a psychic pest control service. Humiliation and anger made my face flush. "Fine," I gritted out, "but you're not done. You're helping me investigate the other 4 mysteries. I paid for the whole day, after all." Sabrina glanced at the check, then at me. A barely perceptible smirk touched her lips. "As you wish. I'm curious to see just how many times you can scream in one day, anyway."
Mystery number 2, the whispers on Nugget Bridge. That night we stood on the long wooden bridge, fog swirling around our feet. Can you hear it? Ethan, the trainer kid who had tagged along after hearing I was investigating, whispered excitedly. And then I heard it, a faint disembodied whisper. "Go away. Get out." "Okay, I'm going," I yelped, about to turn and run. Sabrina grabbed the back of my collar. "Stay put, you fool." She closed her eyes. "It is not one, it is many, and they are inverted." She pointed to the underside of the bridge. "Alakazam, psychic." Her Alakazam lifted a large rock beneath the bridge, revealing a small cave. A panicked swarm of Zubat flew out. "Their sonar," Sabrina explained, echoing inside that small cave and distorted by the river wind. It creates an auditory illusion that mimics a human voice. Trivial. Just then, a Zubat swooped past my face. I screamed and latched onto Sabrina. Sabrina, without a change in her expression, simply teleported me 2 meters away and let me fall on my butt. "Please refrain from wrinkling my cape." Mystery number 3, the ghost of the bike shop. We had set up small cameras in the now closed bike shop. We sat in a van across the street watching the monitors. "This is so thrilling," Ethan whispered. "This is a waste of time," Sabrina muttered, reading a book titled Quantum Psychic Chaos Theory. Around 2 a.m. it happened. A bicycle wheel began to turn on its own. Then another, an entire row of bikes began to shake. "There it is," I yelled at the screen. Sabrina didn't even look up. "Do you see the small shadows moving under the frames?" I squinted. She was right. Tiny, fast-moving shapes were darting back and forth. Sabrina sighed, putting her book down. "Alakazam." Her Alakazam vanished from the van and reappeared seconds later holding a struggling Rattata. As I thought, a large Rattata nest under the floorboards. They enjoy the taste of the rubber on new tires. Utterly boring. She released the Rattata outside and it scurried into the darkness. Mystery number 4, the curse of Cerulean Cape. The place was beautiful, the moonlight shimmering on the water, but it was also cold. Sabrina crossed her arms. "I can sense something here. A sadness, a loneliness." "That's it," Ethan said. "The curse." A translucent pink shape emerged from the water. Misty shrieked and hid behind Sabrina. Sabrina, in contrast, seemed merely curious. "Hello," she said to the air. "You seem quite upset." The shape, a male Frillish, drew closer. A series of faint psychic images flashed in my mind. The Frillish seeing happy couples and feeling jealous. "It's just lonely," Sabrina told me. "It radiates a cold aura of envy that makes couples feel uneasy and argue. It means no harm." She turned to the Frillish. "Perhaps you should try looking for friends in Vermilion. The beaches are more crowded." The Frillish seemed to understand, gave a sad nod, and sank back into the water. After solving 4 mysteries so easily, I was starting to feel more confident. "See," I told Sabrina on our way back, "just a series of misunderstandings. The last mystery will probably be the same." Sabrina didn't reply. She just looked towards Route 24, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of concern on her perfect face. As As we approached the house on Route 24, the cheerful atmosphere vanished. The old, vine-covered house radiated a heavy silence. Ethan, who had been bouncing with excitement, now walked quietly, close to me. Sabrina stopped abruptly. Her casual demeanor was gone, replaced by an intense focus. "Misty," she said, her voice low, "this place is not a joke. Be prepared." We stepped inside. The air was cold and stagnant. The furniture was covered in dust. Sabrina put a hand to her temple. "It's too chaotic. So much fear, so much sorrow. It's trapped here, like a scream that never ends." She walked towards the stairs, as if being pulled by an invisible force. I sensed the source upstairs, in the nursery. "Wait!" Suddenly, she stopped. Her eyes went wide, not with fear, but with astonishment. "Incredible! This power! It's not a ghost. It's a..." Her words were cut off. A massive, formless shadow surged from the top of the stairs and enveloped her. It was soundless, its presence just a wave of soul-deep cold. "Sabrina!" I yelled. For a moment, I saw Sabrina fight back, a pink psychic barrier shimmering around her, but the shadow seemed to be draining it. "It's eating psychic energy," were the last words I heard from her. And then she was gone, just like that, vanished into thin air. Not a sound. All that was left was me and Ethan, standing stunned in the silent house. Where did she go?" Ethan stammered. I didn't know. I was completely alone. My expert, my psychic wall, was gone. I wanted to run, but then I heard a faint sob. It was Ethan. He was terrified, and I was a gym leader. I couldn't leave a child behind. My false confidence from the earlier mysteries, as trivial as they were, had given me a sliver of courage. "It's okay, Ethan," I said, trying to keep my voice from trembling. "We're going to figure this out."
I knew I couldn't find Sabrina. I had to find out what happened here. "Ethan, you stay right here," I said. "If anything happens, you run outside immediately." I walked up the stairs, trembling, every step a battle against my own instincts. The nursery was at the end of the hall. The door was ajar, an invitation into the darkness. Inside, the room was nearly empty, save for a crib and a small bookshelf. I found an old journal on the floor, covered in a thin layer of dust. I blew it off. It belonged to the mother. The first pages were filled with love, with rounded script telling of their son, Leo, and his inseparable mayoral companion, Bubbles. But as I flipped to the end, the writing became frantic, desperate. "They shouldn't have gone. The expedition is too long. Leo misses them so much, he keeps asking when Mommy will be home." And then the last page, written in a rushed, tear-smudged scrawl. "Fire, fire everywhere, the smell of smoke. The babysitter ran. Leo, my boy, trapped upstairs, my baby." The entry ended there. My heart seized. A fire. As I finished reading, the light in the room began to bend. A low, unnatural hum throbbed in my head. From the corner of the room, a tall, alien shape emerged. A behyam, but it was nearly twice the size of a normal one, its 3 colored eyes glowing with a hypnotic rhythm. On its long, glowing fingers, translucent 3D images of a small boy and a Meryl cowered in fear. I understood. This behyam was a psychic parasite. It had been drawn to the tragedy and had extracted and stored their most painful memories. Now it was replaying those memories on a loop and feeding on the fear they generated. "Miss Misty!" I heard Ethan scream from downstairs. "The door! It won't open!" And then a terrified shriek. I ran down. The boy was on the floor, unconscious, and a faint stream of energy was flowing from his head to the behind, which had appeared directly behind him. It wasn't just feeding on old memories, it was harvesting new fears.
Stop it! I roared, throwing out Starmie's Pokeball. Starmie, power gem! The gem on Starmie's body fired a beam of energy, but it dissipated before it even reached the Bahayam, absorbed by a psychic field. The Bahayam turned to look at me. Its fingers glowed brightly. Before I could react, an immense, invisible psychic force slammed at me. I felt myself being lifted and thrown backward. I crashed through the rotten wood of the house's wall and landed hard on the grass outside. A sharp, horrifying pain shot through me. My left arm was broken. A few ribs, too. I coughed up blood. The physical pain, combined with the helplessness and the fear, pushed me past my limit. Lying on the ground, looking at the ruined house where that monster was torturing 2 children and about to feed on another, my fear evaporated, replaced entirely by the cold rage of a protector. No one, I gritted my teeth, no one hurts children in my city. I used my good arm, throwing my last Pokeball. My Gyarados appeared in the night sky with a roar that shook the very ground. You want painful memories, do you? I screamed, tears and blood streaming down my face. Let me give you one. Gyarados, Hydro Pump, destroy it all! My Gyarados, sensing its master's fury, unleashed a deluge. The high-pressure water tore through the house, turning wood and memories into a chaotic mess. The Bahayam, stunned by the raw physical power, was blasted out of the wreckage, its body flickering and weak. The images of Leo, Meryl, and Ethan vanished from its fingers. Amidst the soggy ruins, the 2 translucent shapes of Leo and Meryl appeared. They were no longer afraid. They just looked sad. You saved us, Leo's voice echoed, faint. I staggered to my feet, gritting my teeth against the pain. It's over, I said softly. You're safe now. The spirit of Leo looked at me, his transparent eyes welling with tears. Why did Mom never come back? He asked, a question that had tormented him for years. It was so hot and so dark. I called for her, but she didn't come. Did she forget us? He collapsed, his faint form crumpling, his sobs the most heartbreaking sound I had ever heard. The little Meryl tried to comfort him, but it was fading too. My heart shattered. I walked closer, ignoring the pain from my broken bones. No, Leo, I whispered, my own tears beginning to fall. Your mother never forgot you. Never. I remembered the words in the journal. Every day she wrote about you, about your smile, about how much you loved Bubbles. She loved you more than anything in this world. Then why? Because she couldn't, I said, the truth a bitter pill. Because sometimes terrible things happen for no reason, and they leave scars that are too big. But that doesn't mean the love is gone. I knelt before him, looking directly into his ghostly eyes. Your pain was real. Your fear was real. But so was your mother's love. And it's still here, even if she isn't. You don't have to be scared anymore. You don't have to wait anymore. I held out my hand, not as a touch, but as a gesture. Go on, Leo. Go find your mom. She's waiting for you somewhere in a place with no fire, no darkness. Go find her across the stars, beyond the quietest ocean, and tell her that her son is finally home. The spirit of Leo looked at me one last time, and for the first time, he smiled, a smile of peace. Thank you, Misty. He and his Meryl faded, not into nothingness, but into thousands of blue sparks that floated up and joined the starry night sky. I threw a Pokeball at the Bahayam, stunned. It offered no resistance. Just then, Sabrina and Ethan reappeared out of thin air, both looking disoriented. I was in a closet, Sabrina said, brushing invisible dust from her cape, very dusty, and it smelled of mothballs. She looked at the Pokeball. Her eyes lit up with scientific curiosity. An anomalous beheum. I'll be taking this. Consider it my fee for the inconvenience. And I will erase the last few hours from this boy's mind. He is too young to carry this burden. She placed a finger on Ethan's forehead, and he blinked, looking around as if waking from a dream. What happened? You fainted from fright, kiddo, I lied, smiling through the pain. But it's okay. I took care of the ghost. Sabrina left with her prize. I stood there, amidst the ruins, with a broken arm and 2 safe children. I had won. I was ready to go back to Cerulean, no longer just a gym leader, but a true protector.
The transmission is ending. The static is creeping back in. Thank you for listening to Lavender Town Radio. Remember, the Pokédex only tells you half the story. We're here for the other half. Your thoughts on this story are valuable. They tell us what scares you. Leave them in the comments. To help us continue broadcasting from the abyss, please hit the like button and, most importantly, subscribe. More subscribers mean a stronger signal, and a stronger signal means more secrets can be revealed. This is Lavender Town Radio, signing off. Be sure to check your shadows. You never know what might be listening.